Bitch one coming for you. UKENT.
Sit back and enjoy the first of many shows spotlighting women all around the world. These 7 amazing ladies are going to share their stories and their talents with you, inspire you to follow your dreams, and to believe that you will achieve anything. Enjoy.
She's beyond a dream, they all encompassing, shattering the glass ceiling. But she bears the scars of the world's misconception. She's the ultimate of God's invention. She's a queen.
Ooh, ladies first, ladies first. Ooh, ladies first. Ooh, ladies first, ladies first. Oh yeah, babe. Ladies first.
My name is Whitney Jones. I'm a performing recording artist, contemporary R&B artist. I'm from Atlanta, but currently I am in Phoenix, so that's my hometown as of now. Kirk Franklin was a huge inspiration for me because he was contemporary and, you know, he pushed the boundaries with his sound. But also, I really appreciated his production, his songwriting. He can't sing worth a lick. We all know that. But just as a musician, and I'm a musician, so like I actually started off on the piano. I didn't start really singing until, you know, 8th grade, and after that, high school and whatnot. So for me, it was like, oh, I want to be a female Kirk Franklin. I want to produce, but I didn't want to just be stuck in the bubble of gospel music. I want to just do music, whether that's you know, R&B or pop or jazz or funk. Like I just want to do music. I'm older, you know, Stevie Wonder, definitely Stevie Wonder, Prince. So people, the artists that inspire me are those who like write their own music and produce their own music, because that's what I do. So that's awesome. Rochelle Farrell or Patrice Rushen, you know, those ladies. Oh, that was pretty cool. That was an event that they put on every Tuesday at the Study in North Hollywood, and so I was one of the featured artists that evening. It was pretty cool, you know, just to get up, perform with the band, and, you know, get the crowd moving. I had them singing along with me, so it was a good vibe. Voice is definitely a cool show. It's a cool opportunity, you know, for unsigned, unknown artists or vocalists to get a chance at, you know, stardom. It's also a TV show, so keep that in mind. That's number one. It's not really based on musical ability, so to speak. So with that said, there's like a whole process before it even gets to that point. You go and you audition in front of TV producers, and then they call you back if they think you can be a part of the show but have some singing skill as well. They're looking for ratings, you know, so keeping that in mind, and then they'll call you back, and then they do you audition in front of more TV producers, and then there's a whole nother process after that. So yeah, that's what you all see on TV. That's like way down the line. So I did the preliminary audition. No, it's actually interesting. It's a blessing. It was great because I got to network with other artists and other producers who were there. So it actually turned out to be great. I actually connected with an old friend who's doing some songwriting out in LA, and you know, working with the publishing company. So it's all good. I believe that everything is everything, and it all happens for a reason. So I'm grateful for the experience. Hold me tight, I feel more than a dream. Life is what I see. The more I can interact with the people, and you know, the more, because I'm an independent artist, I don't have a label backing me, nor do I desire that. Giving you real soul music, so it's the same concept. Fill your spirit with something good, positive, uplifting. Continue to support indie artists, and yeah, let's raise the vibration in this world and go higher.
Ooh, ladies first, ladies first.
Erica Gill, musician. I've always been writing lyrics and poetry and all that, but putting it to music I really started doing when I was 12. Played guitar, bass guitar, drums, piano, and a few auxiliary instruments, but mainly those four.
I was starving in the public eye. I was waiting for my life to die.
Rock is like the main thing, but indie rock, sometimes it's folk rock. Try to stick to vintage things because that's what I really like. It's always what I have liked, and that's kind of where the music comes from, I think, is like all the classic stuff that I really love. So I just try to find old archival footage and put it in.
The love is so slow that you could easily run away. I like the sun in my eyes, blinded by the warmth of a better day. When you burn me with your cigarettes, when you hurt me with your love, when you burn me with your cigarettes, nothing better I could dream of.
You have like music teachers that are telling you how to do it a certain way, but I was more of like, I could learn things by ear, but I never knew like that was actually possible. So with all those like people telling me the technical way how to do things, it threw me off until I learned like, oh, I gotta do it my own way. Then I figured it all out.
Took me out to the plains, I was feeling kind of homesick. But you stood back and aimed for the bed and the nothingness.
I like writing a lot. I've written some books, but I haven't done anything with them. And I really like fashion. I don't know. I just love that stuff and aesthetic things.
Trees that alone makes you so glad. I'm not so glad. I'm not so glad.
Subscribe to my YouTube. My name, Erica Gill.
Ooh, ladies first, ladies first.
We shot that was the location where we did the video for Oklahoma on Her Mind.
Okay.
And so Kathleen Dreyer and Eric Heithouse and Amy Heithouse, all three of us went to X Diamond Ranch. We were looking for a location that looked like Oklahoma, where the rolling hills and the grass. And the one key thing was because when I grew up, like a white horse has always been really significant. When I was a little girl, I had a white horse. And so I was looking for a horse that looked like my horse, and we were going to evolve the young girl scene to now the grown scene because of the lyrics and how the parallel in the song.
The warm evening air.
You have a horse that might might work for a video.
When she's got Oklahoma on her mind.
And his name was Whitey, and wow, that was an incredible connection. So literally when I met him and I talked to him and I told him, I said, here's what we're doing. It was almost like he understood me. It was phenomenal. And both Kathleen and I were just like, this is amazing.
Watching beauty pageant, she dreamed. Young girls.
If I could perform anywhere in the world,
Or international.
yeah, I think I always had a dream to perform outside in Sedona, like up in the rocks or something. It wouldn't be like the kind of gig that people would be thinking of, where it'd be like, oh, there's 100,000 people, or in the Hollywood Bowl, or anything like that. It would be with the vibration of the sound bouncing off of the sandstone.
You know, I just would really encourage people to live in the pureness of their own soul, of what you know you've come in the world to do, and just not let anything stand in your way, because circumstances can certainly do that, maybe veer people off their course, and to just, you know, move into it as soon as you can. Like, do it now, right? Don't wait. You never know. Yeah, I mean, there's just so many good people in the world, and a lot of talent on a spiritual level, uniting our voices for the good of all. And that's when the magic happens.
Ooh, ladies first, ladies first.
I'm Leah Lopez. I live in New York, and I'm from New Mexico, northern New Mexico, actually, a little place called Espanola. Weeping Willow. In a search to find my quest, I found a safe place to rest. I lay under a giant weeping willow, away from the rushing billows of danger and fright that are hidden in the night. I hide my tears in the weeping willow. Beneath her drooping limbs I bury my collow. Her leaves drape my insecurities, and a gentle breeze unveils my purity. I know it is for me she weeps in silence. She sees inside the mental violence. But there is nothing she can do, so she holds my pain until it's through. The clouds now join our weeping tears. The rain's darkness brings out our fears. When I thought I was alone, and I would shout a bitter tone, my weeping friend still stood by me to shelter me better than any other tree. That was written for my mother.
Tell us a little bit about Fool's journey of redemption.
A journey that I took along with the paintings, and I thought that the title was appropriate because it's derivative of tarot cards. The Fool's Journey is something that I think people who understand the symbology involved with tarot cards or mythology or Jungian psychology, they'll kind of relate to this theme. Mm-hmm. And so I went ahead and played the Fool. Oh. I'm the fool on the journey, and if you ever seen a deck of tarot cards,
yeah,
the pictures are really laid out in a way of, it is a story. It's a great game if you deal the cards and you find that a story is told to you each time. And the story is filled with how they portray the symbols, but the symbols are very old, and the story is very old. It's as old as time, and I really respect it. I really respect the fact that these concepts are as deeply rooted within us as every film we loved, every music. Or every song we ever got really passionate about, and the lyrics or poems, and mm-hmm. All this stuff, it kind of cycles back. So the Fool's Journey is really about here we go again. There's another loop in the cycle of life.
Okay, kind of like your evolution, like the different changes or the different cycles of what you're going through in life.
Yeah, you got it. You got it. And this is just my way of putting my own pictures to that experience.
Ooh, ladies first, ladies first.
My name is Rita J.
And where you from?
Chicago.
Have no regrets, keep my mindset, keep my goals met, focus yet, lose my way, get off into some dumb shit. Sometimes I gotta refine and grind fine. Perspective with the eagle eye, another angle I'ma try.
I come from just a family that loved to listen to music. My dad is just an avid listener of music, so I grew up on soul and house and funk and R&B and hip hop. So that was kind of like the foundation of just being a fan. And maybe around 12 or 13 is when I would, repeat other people's rhymes like Common, just got encouraged by people's reactions and whatnot to keep going. So, yeah, it was pretty fluid. Yeah, music is a passion of mine. Like I said, I've been MCing for like 20 years. I also like to dance. I was trained in dancing from the age of 3. I'm also an herbalist. I have a company called Also Medicinal. I make herbal teas and herbal medicine. And then I'm also a yoga instructor. I'm into fitness and just health and wellness in general. Yeah, I model. I tend to just throw my own photo shoots. I have a connection of people that I work with, so it's just kind of for fun and just another expression of my creativity. I'm out here trying to make moves, trying to uplift people, empower people through health and wellness, through music, through movement. My website is www.ritajmusic.com. You can find me on Instagram at ritaj9. Also, my herbal business is on Instagram, Also Medicinal. And I'm working on a new album, so just, stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'm just out here creating. I appreciate the time you took to hit me up and to do this interview. And yeah, life is good.
Scientists holler, created this land, both earth and water. Humans rebirth our sons and daughters who ought to be living, but fighting for funds and squalor. Oppressed chains, collars, unleash the beast. Ninjas looking for their father, but why bother when the situation's lava? Drink your cup of Joe Java. Wake up, family, for we all end up martyrs. Dead or in jail, hungry starvers, feeding off imitation carvers who lie, steal, and kill just to make $1. Hamburger out in the streets, they call it murder. Soft murmurs, we fighting for survival. I'm just trying to live my life.
Ooh, ladies first, ladies first.
Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Miracle Thomas, vocalist, songwriter, producer.
All right, and where you from?
I am actually from Lynchburg, Virginia. My mother said a lot of my music, and I didn't really think about it because, when I write, I just sing it. I don't necessarily put it down on paper. So when I record, usually my guys will give me some music. Either I would push record and the song will come, or I will just sing a song and then they will arrange the music around what I'm singing. But she said a lot of my songs are sensual.
Betty White meets Lauryn Hill.
I'll take that. I like that.
If you can perform anywhere in the world or internationally, where would you perform at and why?
Probably the iconic Jazz Cafe in London. And then the reason why I say that, I don't know if you know, my uncle is Carl Anderson. He was a vocalist and songwriter as well, and an actor. He had the song called Buttercup out, like back in the day. And he sang with Robin Thicke, his mother. He had some songs out with her too, Gloria Loring. And he did a lot of singing overseas. I would like to follow in his footsteps. He passed from leukemia, so I think he gave me the baton. That's how I look at it.
Okay. And you're just carrying on the good spirit.
Yeah. Gotta keep it going. Just want people to know, especially people who help other people and caregivers, because a lot of times we don't take care of ourselves. And I just want people to start putting themselves first. And it's not selfish. because if you're not right, nobody else is going to be right. And I had to
Gotcha.
unlearn some stuff. So I'm starting to put me first.
Ooh, ladies first, ladies
Rose
first.
Cora Perry. I'm the front woman for a Canadian rock band.
Wanna feel the light upon my face. Wanna know what it's like.
My parents probably just noted from an early age that there was something about me that screamed, I love to perform. I don't know if that was just me being a crazy little toddler or whatever, but I got enrolled in vocal training when I was about 4 years old, and I studied classical music for about 14 years. And then I formed my first rock band when I was a teenager, and it took many years, I actually think, for me to really understand how rock is really its own beast and its own genre, and it's a really, really powerful genre, and how to understand, really to find my bearings as a classical vocalist, gone rock and roll, and then to figure out how to merge those two styles from a songwriting perspective. So I've had a couple bands now, both have been fairly successful, and then I did a solo thing for a while, and now my most recent band we formed in 2016 following the release of my most recent solo album, which was called Onto the Floor, and my new band, The Truth Untold, has just released our debut EP called Other Side of the Story, and we've put out 2 music video singles. One is called Easy Prey, and the other is a cover, a rockified version of Adele's Rolling in the Deep with lots of distortion. Our local media here is really, really cool, and there's some great opportunities for, people to get involved and to actually take on show hosting stuff themselves. So I got recruited to be the host of 2 different shows here in London. I did that for a couple of years, and I really enjoyed it. It was just cool to kind of be on the other side of the microphone, asking people questions and getting to learn about really, really awesome entrepreneurial things that were going on, as well as like non-for-profit and charitable things that were going on in the city. I want to try and give to independent musicians something that I never had, and that's a bit of advice and a starting point of, common pitfalls and scams and stuff to avoid. So, that you get to focus, primarily your energies on what you want to do and what you love, and that's your music, and not get caught up in, some of the unfortunate things that happen on the seedy side of the industry, because it very, very much is a real thing.
You also did some acting too.
Yeah.
Yeah. How's the whole acting process? From you doing music, you talk show host, now you doing some acting. What's going on?
Well, again, it's just a different element of expressiveness and creativity.
Yeah.
I will say, from my experiences, doing some short films and whatnot, actors are very different, a very different species than musicians are. And I have absolutely nothing against actors. I've got some really, really wonderful friends that are actors before anything else, and I think that they're fantastic people. But what I found to be quite odd is, because I'm used to being in a band and having that kind of we're all in this together mentality, actors seem to be, in my experience at least, a lot more cutthroat and a lot more, I'm going to show you up because I want to make sure that I'm the star of the show. Where in my experience, being in a band, we are all there to make each other look good. No one person is more important than the other. We are a machine working together. And, if I screw up, you screw up too. We want to make sure that we all come across sounding as great and looking as great as we possibly can. And I found that working with actors was a very, very different experience in that sense, because if somebody else could screw you over to make themselves look better, they would. Unfortunately, that was my experience. I'm not making any generalizations. I cannot possibly speak to how other places work in terms of the acting world, but that was my experience here in the few plays and short films that I took part in. Now, in terms of the acting process, I think, part of it is just a natural extension of being artistic. And, obviously if I played characters that more closely reflected someone I could relate to, or, I could find an aspect of myself, it was fairly easy for me. Mm-hmm. But I remember there were a couple things that I got cast in which didn't feel right at all. And it felt very, very forced to me. And I know I didn't do that great of a job because it's just, I wasn't able to, I guess, bring down my guard enough to feel like I could become that character. So I guess the thing about being a rock front woman is that part of that persona is being this really strong and empowering figure up there on stage and owning a stage. And so as a consequence, trying to play a vulnerable character for me is very difficult because I don't want to show people a sign of weakness. It kind of goes against my nature being a front woman for a rock band. And it's different if you're singing a sad ballad versus having to cry on cue, for example. I don't know. I feel like it brings forth a different part of yourself, and I don't like bringing down that guard, I think, enough to be able to play that kind of character. Maybe in the future, but not yet.
She's a queen. She's a queen.
She's your queen of beach. Step back and enjoy the scenery. More natural than gardens of greenery, but more advanced than some alien machinery. Her love so exquisite, it breaks the laws of physics. We should all be committed, cause we crazy how we treat them, how we control them, we all then delete them. And when we delete them, we lose our lovers, just like we losing each other. I mean, look at Shaka Zulu's mother, cause she birthed the tribe of warriors that turned to conquerors, and now they victorious. I wish it was more of us to contain the genes from original queens that birthed them original kings. So all hail to the face behind the veil that birthed you and I, so we all prevail.
She's a queen.
It's gonna cost you to ride this for me. I don't take no IOUs. You gotta pay me what you owe me. So if you wanna stay on